What's going on, everybody? Ballard here, coming at you live. Episode 29. We are one away from a good milestone, right? 30 episodes, one away. Episode 29 of the BSM Podcast. We talk whatever the heck we want to. Just relax, talk some sports, talk about life. Today was an amazing day. I'm going to just say that. I don't want to give a whole lot out publicly, but it was a hell of a day. I hope everyone did tune in to my video earlier. I guess an hour or so ago. I had like a 25-minute long video, something like that, on Auburn, looking at how they might be in year one of the Brian Harsin era. And I didn't show up for it, but obviously it was still there if anyone wanted to comment. So I'll go back and see who all said what or whatever. And yeah, but let's see who we got. We got Ballard in here. What's up? Myself. What's up, Trenches? How you doing, buddy? What's up, Bama buddy? My good buddy. Roll Tide to you. Hope y'all are doing well. Today was great. It was amazing. I did not have to work. I don't have to work tonight. That's not necessarily what made it amazing, although I'm gonna just be real. You know, still, wow. I put the StreamYard link if y'all want to join in. Feel free to. It's up to y'all. Bama versus Miami week 1. I'm looking forward to that. I was going to do a stream tonight at 7 o'clock with Mr. Pinecone, Hurricane T2I, good dude. But I guess it didn't work out. He said he would be busy, so that's canceled. So I guess in the meantime, we'll do this and we'll talk for a while. Yeah, I got work tomorrow. I'll be up, read morning show news with Uncle Lou on his morning show. And also, don't forget, Saturday nights, every Saturday night, the Unprofessional Sports Show with my good buddy TikTok Chess Hall and myself. Let me double check. It's always a long week for me, so I always got to go back and look. It's on my channel this week. Chess Hall did it last week. It was the 30th episode that we did. 33 overall. Actually, technically 34. Something happened to our first one. But anyway, 30th of season 2. Season 3 coming in about a month or so. And Chess Hall and I have already made the announcement that we will be doing it in person, live for all of you. That is literally 3 weeks away from this Saturday. In fact, I say that we'll do it in person, but nothing's ever guaranteed. We would like to, and we would love to try to do something, but it is going to be the 1 year stream, or 1 year of our show stream and celebration. And we promise that whether it's in person or if it's just like normal, we promise that we're going to do everything we can to make it very special and amazing for all of you guys. see something. I'll double check. So we got Trenches, Bama Buddy, and Brandon Schutz, which I am not 100% sure if that's actually how you say your last name, sir. I hope I'm not butchering it. Let me also let me take this off here. Let's get back to this. Let's go. Here we go. All right. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you're new. We'll read some sports stuff too. We had, let me double check something. I think last night was it game 5, I believe, of the finals, the NBA finals. Let me see here. Last night, game 4, I'm sorry, 109 to 103. It was incredible to watch. It was great to see. And I did have, I put a video out last night, late last night. I had it out for you guys. Overall, Chris Middleton was the key player. And the Bucks just really, they played good defense there at the end. Even though Devin Booker led the game in total, the lead scorer was Middleton for the Bucks at 40. But Devin Booker led the Suns and led the game, in fact, at 42. Now, when you see a game like this, and I said this in one of my recap videos from the other night, that when you see stats like that for any game, but let's stick to basketball here. This team won 110 to 102. They won by 8. But yet the losing team had the highest score of the game in total. Well, that might be. But, combined points with all the players that scored on the other team, obviously doesn't add up or compare to what, what the other team, that won the game did. So, I mean, it doesn't matter who has the highest scoring player, and whether or not it's close. You got to think other players. That's just individual statistics there, not necessarily for team. DeAndre Ayton led in rebounds, 16 defense, 1 offense. The center for the for the Phoenix Suns, and then Giannis led for the Bucks. The Greek Freak led Milwaukee in rebounds. He had 14 in total, 9 on defense, 5 on offense. Assists, Chris Paul, the point guard. We know about him. We know what he can do. He had 7. Giannis had 8. So there were some stats where the Bucks led. They practically, if you think about it, they led in all stats outside of the highest number of points for an individual player. And Devin Booker has practically just had that kind of series in this. And now we're all tied up. It's 2-2. 109-103, the final score again. Last night's NBA Finals, Game 4. So. I saw this news shortly before I got home today. It is official that the Big 12 officials are aiming to crack down, per ESPN sources. And just a reminder, Big 12 has had media days this week. I'll be looking forward to hearing from some of the coaches a little later on. Maybe I could get some stuff out for you guys. We'll see. They are going to crack down on taunting. let me just get to the point here. The horns down that Oklahoma does, a lot of people do it. I've done it before. That's gone practically because it's offensive, it's teasing, it's taunting. We can't have that. You know? Let me show you something. This, what I'm doing right here is offensive. And we need to put a stop to it. So they're saying. This is offensive in the Big 12 now. You know who it offends? Texas fans. It offends the fans of the Texas Longhorns because what they do is this. You know, they go hook 'em, right? Horns up, hook 'em. Texas. Longhorns, go long. You know, that's what they do. And I think actually, I've really only seen it from Oklahoma fans. And I think I've even heard people like Pigskin Pete ran on this a few years ago. You know, I've heard it. You know, this is basically like giving the middle finger to the Texas fan base, basically. I mean, it's like putting them dead in the ground. You're turning it upside down, planting them in the ground. That's offensive. So now the Big 12 is backing Texas. And with all due respect for Sarkisian, I hope he has a great career. I'm pulling for him. Thank him for everything he did for Bama. But this is ridiculous. I'm not saying that we have to keep it. It's taunting. They fixed this before they fixed anything as far as like the targeting rule or whatever. I mean, this is unsportsmanlike conduct now. This It's ridiculous. Hold on one second. What?
I was just making sure the girls wasn't in here.
No, you're good. I'm back. Okay. But yeah, that's offensive. Horns down is offensive for Texas fans. Right, which I could understand that, right? Because obviously what they do the horns up. That's what they do. But you go like that, you're like putting it in the ground. I apologize that I have my light off. I just don't want to mess with a whole lot of light today, honestly. Y'all could still see that, obviously, but anyway. That's offensive. You better not put a horns down whatsoever. God forbid that I take my hand. I mean, send me to hell for this, but I just got to do this, and I'm going to do that. Oh, no. I mean, you basically just flip the bird to Texas. I mean, that's basically what it is. That's what they're doing. Like when you do that, kind of. I mean, look, I've really only seen Oklahoma do it. Let me just clarify the fact that I think it's kind of stupid that they're doing that. You know, honestly. I've been seeing that horns down thing for a long time. And they always call unsportsmanlike conduct on it. You know? That's like, I mean, the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties that we have, like in the NFL, what is the one thing you see, who is it? Oh, Gronkowski. watch this. I mean, I'm not going to share audio, but this right here is, what they're talking about is offensive. This whole look at this. Hold on. Wait for it. They got the horns up. That is now offensive. This is offensive now. Boom. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. I get it. But like in the NFL, Gronkowski, his signature move after a touchdown, at least every time I see him get a touchdown, he puts his hand on the ball and he spikes the football, right? That's his signature move. Nobody gets mad. I see a lot of players do it. You can't do that in college. You can't spike the football. Now you can't have horns down. You can't, it was kind of out of line for Ole Miss to do that dog piss thing for the Bulldogs a few years ago in the Egg Bowl. That was kind of hilarious to see, though. But you can't taunt. You can't tease. You can't poke fun. You just can't. It's ridiculous. I'm not trying to sit here and say that you need to let the players just be jerks. But in my opinion, I think what the Big 12 did today with the officiating and everything, I just think that it's gotten soft in football. I really do. I think we're just soft in football now. The thing that pisses me off as far as penalties is the targeting rule. How do you define crown of the helmet? Ducking your shoulder is targeting, or call for review. Any hard hit, right? Now, he ducked his head. Was it leading with the crown of the helmet, though? Was it? I don't know. I'm not trying to get on a rant or nothing, but I saw that Texas news and I'm just like, really? That's offensive now? You can't do that? You can't have horns down? That's just crazy. Anyway, I put the StreamYard link if anyone wants to join in. Doesn't look like really anyone's watching, but I did see Trenches in here, Bama Buddy, Brandon Schutz. What's going on, guys? Again, hope y'all are doing well. I hope everyone had a good week this week. We still got a weekend. Don't forget, I got to get up tomorrow for the morning show with Uncle Lou and read some sports news. Then I work 5 to 11. Tomorrow. So, hey, what's up, Wisconsin sports fan? Sorgy Stories, what's going on? What's up, Trenches? Says he's here. Jeff is in here. What's up? I dropped the link for you guys. Anyone wants to come on, all are welcome. But again, I will say, to Texas, just a reminder. No, all due respect and love to Texas and Steve Sarkisian. I'm pulling for him, but that horns down thing is ridiculous. That is like, it's a rivalry. Oklahoma did that. It's a rivalry. There's hate. There's if getting rid of that is what's going to happen in college football, then I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to call Auburn out right now. I'm going to call them out. If you're going to get rid of the horns down thing that Oklahoma or whoever does to Texas, then Auburn should be penalized and fined when they sing the reverse rammer jammer on Alabama. Let me let y'all listen in on this. They've done this a few times, actually. They do this every time they beat Alabama. Rammer jammer is ours, Auburn fan. That is Alabama's, and you take it and turn it around on us. Let me show y'all something here. Listen to this. Take a quick listen. Oh, hold on. Why is it in slow motion? There we go. Reverse rammer jammer. Y'all get it. Screw Auburn. What's up, Jeff?
I got a message for Texas.
Okay.
We will fight, fight, fight for Iowa State. May her colors ever fly. We will fight, fight, fight for Iowa State with the will to do or die. Rah, rah, rah. Royal sons are ever true. And we hit that line real hard. We will fight, fight, fight for Iowa State. A battle every yard. Fuck Texas and your horns down. You fucking panty waste.
There you go.
You fucking panty wastes.
Oh my god. I mean, seriously.
Come on.
This is
you know what? I'm telling you what.
Football has officially gotten into the wokeness and become soft because this is apparently offensive.
I'm telling you what. I'm going to tell you what. D4 and every self-respecting Texas fan is embarrassed about this.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's racist or something. I don't know.
No, it's just offensive to Texas. Because they do this, and this is like putting them dead in the ground. Well, I'm sorry. If they beat you by like 30 or whatever, you lost the game. Or gave up a play or whatever, or I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's basically if you want to flip off a Texas fan, just do this.
Any of the Texas fans that I know, that I have respect for, the Texas fans that I know and I have respect for, that are true fans of the game. They don't give a shit about this horns down thing. They don't care about that. They think when other teams do that, they're just being silly.
Yeah.
Because it's a hand sign. It's like flipping somebody the bird. I flipped buddies of mine the bird.
That's what I was saying. That's basically
I probably flipped the bird off to friends of mine 10 times than I do to somebody who's I'm really trying to flip the bird off to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like for fun. Not out of offense or nothing. Just straight up, just as a joke. And they take it if you just gave them a sentence to hell.
Listen, Ballard, if you go to Baton Rouge, or you go to Starkville, or you go to Knoxville, or you go to Athens, for 3 fucking blocks walking into that stadium, you got to hear people chant, "Roll Tide, roll around the rim and down the bowl. Roll Tide, roll."
Oh my god!
And you just laugh at it. You just laugh at it.
It's funny.
It's smack talk. It's part of the game.
It is.
That's right. Trash talk is just a part of college football.
And it's not like Texas hasn't taunted teams before. If you can dish it out, you got to be willing to take it too.
I don't personally do the horns down because when I see Texas, I'm in a professional setting on the sidelines and I'm working, and I don't react either way.
There you go. What's up, Dominic?
You know?
What's up, Ballard?
Not much, man. Is that a microphone?
This is actually my new speaker I got just last week.
Oh, that's cool, though.
Yeah, I can hear you guys more loud and clear now with it.
Awesome. What do you think of the Texas horns down?
The Texas horns down situation. Well,
yeah,
honestly,
it's offensive and banned in college football now.
Or it's banned in the Big 12.
Or the Big 12. So we could do it. We could do that to them next season, not this year, but the year after, because we got a home and home with Texas.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know that Bama could beat Texas. Honestly, I got a good feeling about that.
Yeah. What did Mike Vick just say?
I have no idea.
Between the trenches. Yeah, he said, between the trenches said reverse rammer jammer sounds like a wrestling finisher.
It actually does. Actually, I mean, the way that it starts out, it does sound like a fight for WWE or something to get hyped up too.
It sounds like what Bama fans do with their cousins.
Bye, Vic. Just kidding.
You knew it was
not
coming.
as bad as what Tennessee.
You knew it was coming, Ballard. You knew it was coming.
Hey, I've heard it all. Jeff's heard it all. I mean, it's a laughing topic now.
Is that so, Ballard?
Yeah.
I don't know what's with the smile on my face. Probably because I'm ready for college football season and my team, the Cavaliers, Virginia.
Yeah.
Because I'm obviously from the state of Virginia. Don't get me wrong there.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry to put it to you like this, but I think Virginia is a basketball school. I hope you don't take offense to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not taking offense to that one bit. It's your opinion, man. I respect it very well.
Yeah. I mean, they've had a couple key players on football, but I mean, it's, I think they got a lot of work to do before they're like competing for anything major.
Exactly. But you know what? I'm happy about that Virginia did in basketball.
Yeah. They just won, not this past one, obviously, because Baylor, but 2 years ago, before the pandemic, they won the championship over, who they beat? Was it Texas Tech, I believe?
Yes, it was Texas Tech. Yes, it was Texas Tech.
Virginia had the controversial call against Auburn, and it didn't go Auburn's way, but, I mean, still.
I still don't remember what the controversial call was. Gosh, how do I forget?
I think it was some foul or whatever.
Yeah, that. Now I remember.
I have to go back and look.
Yeah, same.
Y'all want to see some updated recruiting rankings here, which, again, just a reminder for everybody, these are meaningless until December. We still got about, I guess, 4 or 5 months until early signing day towards, the postseason of football. But this is kind of where we're at. Ohio State at the top, Notre Dame, Penn State, LSU, Texas, Oklahoma, Florida State, Oregon, Georgia, Michigan, and so on. Alabama has gone up a bit. They're at number 12. But again, this is all meaningless for right now. It really is.
Where
I mean,
is Virginia?
Clemson is at. I'm sorry.
Where's Virginia?
What were we saying? Virginia.
I was saying, where is my team, the Cavaliers?
Yeah. 46, right behind Ole Miss. That's not bad. Y'all are
They
top
really
50.
have to step it up.
Hey, top 50 for Virginia is pretty good.
Yeah, I
Clemson,
would have to
though,
agree,
is
but I'm just saying they got to step it up a bit if they want to get to at least the top 20 or something.
like I was saying though too. All of this is meaningless again until players actually sign. Once players start signing in December with the early signing period, then these are going to go up. You know, if like Clemson's going to get quite a few 5 stars, 4 stars, and just going to get recruits. And they're going to jump into the top 10 or top 5. And, you know, Bama's going to go up a bit. Florida, gosh, I don't even know what they're going to do. But
yeah, they round out the top 30. So, but how about Northwestern in 28th? Kudos to them.
yeah, they got 14 players committed. And Northwestern's not a bad team. They have quite a few 3 stars, though. So how that's going to look for Pat Fitzgerald, I don't know. But, man, that's a lot of 3 stars.
Yeah, no kidding. I'd have to agree with you. I have to agree.
They got a guy that just committed from Oak Mountain in Birmingham here in Alabama, Evan Smith. Here, I'm not even sure I've heard that name. They got a few guys. They got a guy, Braden Turner, 3-star corner from Mobile, Alabama. They were last year 11 in the Big Ten. They're 6 right now. They've actually taken a pretty good jump here. Previous year was 50. This year, right now, they're up to 28, around the 30 range. That's not too bad for Northwestern. But again, like I'm saying about these recruiting, it's
to the Northwestern. Aussie, I have to say, kudos to the Northwestern Purple Wildcats. They really stepped it up in the previous season. I want to give my congrats to them. They definitely deserve to step it up.
Yeah. Well, again, I'll say it again. Like all this, it's meaningless for right now. But 9 times out of 10, what you see here, and it'll be not like complete. I mean, like Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Michigan. I mean, these teams are not going to completely fall. You know, like
And
Penn
I've
State
got
probably
one
won't
question.
be.
I have one question.
Go ahead.
How in the world is Texas number 5?
You'd be surprised. Sarkisian's already getting a culture there, man.
Oh,
They won't stay number 5. All these will sort themselves out.
Yeah.
It's like last year, everybody freaked out because Alabama was number 47. And what did they do? They signed maybe the greatest class ever.
Yeah.
exactly. I was just about to say that.
And don't worry about it. And as the only person in here who's ever seen Northwestern play in person, I can tell you that they beat Iowa last year because they scored twice in the first 5 minutes of the game on a couple of turnovers. But Northwestern's a pretty good school. They're also, according to Forbes magazine, the 9th most difficult university to get into in the United States of America. No matter whether you're going there for football or you're going there to be a doctor, whatever it is, their admissions are the 9th toughest in the United States. And for those of you who say, well, they give athletes a break, Northwestern voluntarily goes above and beyond the Big Ten minimum requirements for academics.
Yeah.
They voluntarily set a higher standard than they could legally get away with as a member of the Big Ten.
Right.
So in a way, they're kind of hurting themselves. But
They are.
But Northwestern kids are Northwestern kids are going 4 places if they don't go to Northwestern. They're going to Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Notre Dame. That's where they're going.
Right. Yeah.
That's the kids they're recruiting. And Northwestern is usually fighting the quote unquote smart kids. That's a fight the smart kids from the smart schools in Chicago. That's a fight Northwestern has with Notre Dame. And that's why those two fan bases don't like each other. Because they're fighting for the same kids. And the kids that can't get into either one of those schools end up going to Michigan or Wisconsin.
Yeah, I got you. So, I mean, Northwestern's just one of those other big-time schools that's getting a lot of, I guess, attention to get all the straight A, upper-class type of students in.
Yeah,
and,
well, look, it's not that the Wildcats don't.
Smart
It's not. It's not that they don't want to win. They do.
Right.
They want to win
everyone wants to win.
Just as bad as everybody else. But it doesn't. It doesn't mean to them what it means to Ohio State, what it means to Michigan, what it would mean to Iowa. Northwestern's got other irons in the fire, so to speak.
Yeah. Northwestern is one of those smart people schools. So.
Yeah.
They're like Stanford.
Yeah, like Stanford. Yeah.
I mean, if you go in for a job interview and they look at your resume and you've got a degree and it says Stanford, the next question they're going to ask you is, when can you start?
Right.
Yeah, that'll give you a lot of points if you went to Stanford.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Northwestern. That list was just on the internet not too long ago. Because I was surprised Northwestern was number 9. I didn't know where they would be.
Yeah.
Duke was like number 11 because it was the top 50. Wake Forest was, I don't remember where they were, but Wake Forest was in the top 50. Duke was like 11. Notre Dame was, I'm going to guess, somewhere around 18.
Are we talking,
like
we're still talking about like academics wise, right? We're not talking
about.
Yeah,
we're talking about Johnny just graduated high school and he wants to become a student at this school.
Right. Okay, I got you. Continue on. I was making sure we're on the same
That's
page.
what we're just talking about. What do you have to do to academically qualify? So I mean, like I said, forget football, forget whatever it is you do athletically. I'm just talking about hard to get into.
Okay.
Guess who number 2 was? Number 2 was Stanford.
There you go.
So that goes to show you, and Stanford has success all over the place athletically too. So that goes to show you can do both.
Yeah.
Because I think it was Northwestern was something like only 7% of applicants get in. Like I say, Duke, the other names we would all know, Stanford 2, Northwestern 9, Duke 11, Notre Dame I think was 18, Wake Forest was somewhere in the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Big Ten, SEC, those type of schools. Vanderbilt was in the top 50. Vandy was by better I mean harder to get into than Wake Forest, but not by much. Because like to be considered for the top 50, you had to accept like 15% or fewer of your overall applicants. So I mean, in other words, 85 out of 100 are being told you're not qualified.
Yeah.
Which is what the University of Illinois told me.
Wow.
I said, "You're too dumb. Go somewhere else." And if I would have been 10%, 20% stronger, 20% faster, and 20% more skilled, I might have been able to walk on at Alabama.
There you go. That would have been
walk on and never see the field.
That means having to pay for school though.
Right. The highest. Oh well, I don't want to say highest. I don't think that's the way to use. But the largest level school that showed really any interest in me was a school I wanted to go to anyway, which was Eastern Illinois. Eastern Illinois, by the way, playing South Carolina this year.
Yeah.
I would have made the team. I would have made the team at Eastern. I would have got a jersey, but I would have never played. I would have never been. I would have been like the fourth, on the 4D. I wasn't and I knew that. So I was like, why do I want to go there and go through all the hell of all the practices, and go through all the suffering
when you're not going to play?
When I'm not going to play, and I know I'm not going to play. Now, Wisconsin Whitewater, whose nickname was the Warhawks, Wisconsin Whitewater is what at that time was called a Division III school. They sent me every week. I had a letter in the mail.
Yeah,
because I had gone to a camp in Beloit, which is up by Rockford, right on the Illinois-Wisconsin border, and their coaches were there looking for guys to play at the D3 level, and I could have played at the D3 level. I could have started and played, and probably been kind of a stud. Because really, D3 is nothing more really than like high school all-stars, pretty much is what the level we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go to Wisconsin.
You want to.
When I realized I wasn't going to that I didn't have the grades for DePaul in Illinois, that I wasn't going to play football at Eastern, and then all happened like within a month. All this stuff happened like within a month. It was all like boom, 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 one thing after another. Here come Alabama with all this scholarship money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, look, my dad lives 3 blocks from campus. If I ever need anything, I can walk to his house. I already root for the football team. I love it. I already know Tuscaloosa.
There you go.
I'll have a car there.
I'll
have a car there. My dad's neighbor is a former Bryant assistant coach who's the head of the Alumni Association. So I've got a good contact, and they're throwing money at me. I mean, it was like in big capital letters, how do you say no?
Right.
Like
I just kind of commented, I said it sets up perfectly for you at the time.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't spend I was an Alabama fan all through high school, but I didn't spend all my time in high school talking about going to Alabama. I didn't even give Alabama serious consideration until the last 6 months I was in school.
Yeah.
There was unlike my sister, who had her eyes set on going to Loyola in Chicago. That's where she wanted to go. She wanted to go swim for them. She wanted to get into the programs they had up there. And when they offered her a scholarship, she couldn't sign fast enough. I mean, she got exactly what she wanted,
I got you, man. Yeah.
Yeah, a good friend of mine played baseball at Southern Illinois. Okay, and here's the opposite example of my sister. My sister, not only did she want to swim, she really, really hoped that Loyola would be one of the schools that offered her. Okay,
right.
And my buddy Doug, he didn't give a shit who offered him. He didn't. He just wanted to go play college baseball. He didn't care where.
And
any Division I. Any Division I school that was going to offer him a scholarship, he was going to give serious consideration to it.
Yeah.
And it come down to Western Kentucky or Southern Illinois, and he's like, "Well, if I go to Western Kentucky, I'm 3 more hours further from home than if I go to Southern Illinois."
Yeah. Hey, Big Lee.
So he went to Southern Illinois. And that was just an example of he was just going to take whatever came up.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of players that, not necessarily that get scholarships, although, you see it every year. It's very hard to get that. But, when you hear coaches say, let me add in, what's up, MSU fan? How you been?
I've been pretty good.
Awesome. Like I was saying, if you get a call one day, right? Like, let's use Alabama, for example. Let's say there's a player out there. Let's say he's like a 5-star tackle. He's had great grades all throughout high school. He's from the state of, let's say he's in like Minnesota. I'll use the Minnesota Gophers. He grew up a fan. He lives really close by to where, the Golden Gophers are and PJ Fleck. He's wanted to go there his entire life. He gets a call from Saban that he could be a scholar athlete. You don't think he's taking a chance at going to Alabama? I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be from Saban completely. I mean, the school gives him a scholarship. The scholar athletes are just athletes alongside with their college scholarships that help,
All right. You almost set up the exact real life scenario.
Yeah.
Ross Piersbacher,
Uh-huh.
the only scholarship player ever offered from the state of Iowa by Alabama.
There we go.
Jalen Hurts, quarterback draw for the touchdown to beat Georgia. Go back and watch that play. The announcers blow it. They blow it.
Oh no!
Because they say Jalen Hurts touchdown when they should have been saying, "Look at that block by Piersbacher." Go back and watch that play. That draw works because Piersbacher blows up the Georgia linebacker.
I did notice that. I saw
Piersbacher played at Cedar Falls. Or Cedar Rapids, Kennedy. He was a 30-minute drive from the University of Iowa, where Kirk Ferentz puts offensive linemen in the NFL constantly, and is considered one of the best offensive line coaches in the country. But Alabama came calling, and the Iowa media went crazy that the best lineman in the state wouldn't go to school 30 miles away after growing up a Hawkeye fan. Well, you know what? The last time he came back to town to visit, he was wearing 2 national championship rings.
Hey, the Bucks have one of those.
One from 2015 and one from 2017. So he made the right choice.
I'm sure you're familiar with Tristan Wirfs a few years ago.
Tristan Wirfs he is like Frankenstein.
He's on the Bucks.
He is a freak.
Yes, he is. I love him. I have loved him so far. I don't think he played in every game last year, to my knowledge, but God, if he's playing in every single game we have next season for the Bucks, you're not stopping Tom Brady. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Christian Wirfs he's huge. He's absolutely huge, and he's extremely athletic and nimble on his feet. He's a hell of a lineman. I think he was number 11, 10 or 11 overall, something like that.
Yeah. Well, no, here's the funny thing. Bucks fans were kind of pissed about this. We had the 14th picks, San Fran. This was going back. I think it was the 2020 draft. So this was after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl against the Niners. So the Niners had like some weird trade or whatever, compensatory pick. They have the 13th overall pick. Okay, I don't remember who they took at 14, but the Bucks get a call from them, and the Bucks trade up one spot. I'm hyped. I'm like, we're trading up. What are we going to do? And Bucks, I mean, honestly, now that I think about it, if the 49ers were on the clock, they're the ones that traded the pick away. So, I mean, it's just weird to see a team trade up for a tackle, but I think we got a really good one in that deal. I mean, I really did. We traded up one spot to number 13. We got Wirfs, and it's worked out so far.
Yeah,
it really has.
He'll probably be a 10-year starter.
There we go.
I uploaded a video on Sunday night.
What was it? I missed it.
This past Sunday.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday and Thursday is the media days for the Big Ten.
Yeah. What are you expecting to hear from Michigan State? And who is they still got Tucker, Mel Tucker?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you expecting to hear?
I'm not going to know until the media days, but we might give a little leeway about the quarterback battle and maybe Ricky White, the receiver.
There you go. Yeah.
We did lose Morgan, who was a 6'7" receiver.
Uh-huh.
We lost him, but we get Lee Carr from Purdue, who's 6'5", and what's that guy from Louisville, Fitzpatrick or something his name is?
Des Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, he came to us at 6'6".
Did he transfer?
Yeah, to Michigan State.
I missed that. He's a great receiver. Now, I think he deserves better than Louisville. I think he's a good player that needs to be he'd do great at teams like Bama or Clemson. Anybody would. Those coaches. But, he should be at a higher tier type of team, I think.
We got that one corner from Florida, and Ian Couch from Tennessee came over.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
We got Kenny Walker from Wake Forest. And Anthony Russo from Temple.
Y'all got a lot, man. I think, are you going to sit here and say that the Big Ten needs to look out for the Spartans? Like, are you so high on them that you guys could win the division, or are you sitting there saying at the very least just improve?
I'm going to say, if we beat Northwestern on the road in Miami, the way Ohio State's looking, I think Ohio State might have an 8-4, 7-5 season.
Wow.
Look, we need to just go ahead and clear this up that Ohio State is not, they're not going to be that bad, but they're not going to be as good as people think they will be.
Oh my God.
Jeff, take it away. What? Jeff thinks it's hysterical, I think.
Did you just say Ohio State could be 8-4?
One could only dream of that. I think they could drop a game. I think they could drop 1 or 2 games. They're not losing.
Ohio State's second team would go at 9-3, 10-2 in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Be honest though, Jeff. Be honest though. For the Buckeye fans, one could only dream that they watch their team go 8-4, right?
You play Minnesota. You're one on the road.
I'm not saying I wouldn't love to see it. I'm not saying that at all. I would. Oh my God, I'd be dancing a jig, but it just ain't gonna happen.
They could lose to Minnesota week 1 on the road.
They could. Actually, I think PJ Fleck could.
Bama could lose to Miami. UCLA could beat LSU.
Georgia could lose to Clemson.
Butterflies could shoot out of my ass.
Michigan could lose to Western Michigan. And then right after that Minnesota game, Ohio State, you have Oregon the next week.
That's true. What do you guys expect Mario Cristobal to do this year in Oregon?
And where's that game at?
The Oregon Ohio State game is in Columbus, so I'm not picking Oregon on that. I give that to the home team.
Yeah,
And what happened to Oregon? What happened to Oregon the last time we saw them play?
Play what?
They lost to Iowa State.
They got prison raped by Iowa State.
Was that the Fiesta Bowl, right? I believe.
Yes,
last year.
Can I say Iowa State might make the playoff?
Yeah, Jeff.
They could.
Be honest, Jeff. Here's the thing. Imagine if Iowa State runs the table, they win the Big Ten. Okay, they're in the playoffs. Your dream, would it be a dream scenario for you to see them in Alabama in a title, or would that kind of tear you because you don't know who to pull for?
What do you mean, know who to vote? Who to pull
well,
for?
I know you're an Alabama fan, but I know you would also love to see Iowa State win a title.
Well, yeah, that would be Iowa State would be the only school
outside of Bama.
If Bama lost, would I not spend 6 months in the hospital suffering? If it was to Iowa State, I would only have to suffer for about 2 months.
Right.
Indiana could be there too in the playoff. North Carolina, Miami.
Well, I mean, Iowa State is good enough, I think, to get a playoff spot. But B, lots of things would have to go their way, including some things that are not in their control.
Yeah.
Right.
There'd have to be some Big Ten and some Pac-12 and some other stuff going on.
They need a lot of upsets throughout the season, you know.
I'm telling you here, the talk here is they're looking at they're still slobbering over that Fiesta Bowl. They want to get another New Year's Six Bowl, and nobody here is thinking about the playoffs. Nobody. None of the local media, the papers, the radio, none of the websites. Nobody here is talking Iowa State playoffs. Nobody. They're talking about can they have a 10-win season, which they have never had in their entire history.
Right. And if they do that,
if they do that,
yeah,
they're probably in a New Year's Six game.
Oh, I think they're definitely in. If they run the table, go like 10-2 and win double digits this year, they deserve like I guess this year we'll have the Cotton Bowl and Orange Bowl for the semifinals. They deserve like a Peach Bowl or a Fiesta Bowl spot. You know what I'm saying? If they go like double digits and hit 10-2 or 11-1,
Bowl, you mean?
I'll tell you what I'd really love. I'd really love Iowa State to get a Sugar Bowl spot and then run into Georgia.
Oh, Chess Hall would have a riot if Mr. Ames, Iowa.
Yes, I know, and then half the team quits and we lose to Iowa State.
Your full team could play. Iowa State might beat you this year. Brock Purdy. Hey, Jeff, tell him Brock Purdy's no joke, right?
No, he's no joke, and Breece Hall's the best running back in the country.
Woo!
On top of that, Iowa State's probably got a top. Their linebackers are at worst third or fourth best in the country. At worst.
They've
got a top 10 secondary. They're good enough. Again. I'm not going to sit here and blow Cardinal and Gold at you. Lots of things have to go right. But there are other schools out there who would have to have a lot of things go right that aren't good enough to take advantage of them if they do go right.
Yeah.
If things go right for Iowa State, are they good enough to capitalize? Yes. Do I expect them to? No. Why? Because historically they haven't. But this is the most ink they've ever had in the entire time I've been here, as far as preseason plaudits and respect from the rest of the people in the country.
Yeah.
And this time they deserve it. Now they've got to go out and prove it.
Yep.
You know. But the big question to me is, and I didn't get a clarification on this from Mike Vick this morning.
Yeah.
When Vic got the little three-wheeler out and was tooling around on the beach, did he get in the water, or was he like Traction Jackson and left stranded on the seashore?
I got in the water.
Okay, so you were able to get in then. Good for you.
That's good.
And how warm was it? How warm was the surf?
Oh, it was not very warm. It was about like being in the pool. So.
Okay.
It's
like if you go to Chicago and you swim at like, on the beaches on Lake Michigan, even in the middle of August, Lake Michigan, rarely gets as warm as like the community swimming pool.
Okay. So probably, warmer than that. Yeah.
So, but anyone's seen Alan? I have not. Did something happen?
But it wasn't like the water in Florida though.
Right.
It wasn't like Florida, water.
But still cool that you were able. Did you know before you went there that you were going to be able to get in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you knew you'd have a chance to.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd never seen a chair like that. When I saw that picture, I thought, man, I was so happy for you. I thought that is so cool. Vic's going to get in the water.
Hey, Jeff, I had a video premiere a couple hours ago. I don't know if you caught it, but I want to ask you, I know what you would want to happen to this team, but how bad do you expect Auburn to be this year? Because a lot of people aren't high on them.
Well, okay, here's to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Here's how many times I've looked at Auburn's schedule. I have no idea what their schedule is. None. I've never looked at it once. Yeah. I've never looked at it once. So off the top of my head, Auburn is still talented enough to be a 6-win team. I'm going to give them 6 wins just because they're Auburn.
Yeah.
For one thing we know for sure, somebody, I don't know who it will be, somebody is going to go to Jordan-Hare and get screwed.
Uh-oh.
That happens every year.
Well,
Auburn screws somebody at Jordan-Hare every year.
Well,
I
nominate
Ole Miss to get screwed. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, you got their schedule up. Let me look at this.
Let me zoom in a bit.
Yeah, Ole Miss or Mississippi State.
All right, let me see what I see here. Okay, watch it. Who's that? Akron.
Alabama State.
Win.
At Penn State.
Loss.
Georgia State.
Win.
At LSU.
Yeah, the Kangaroos.
Lost. So now they're 3-2. They lose to Georgia. They're 3-3.
Georgia.
They lose at Arkansas. They're 3-4.
Yeah, that's a loss.
3-6.
Yeah, Georgia's a loss.
Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss gets them.
Yeah.
I agree with
I
that.
think A&M gets them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Go back out again. Let's see. Let me look at their wins. Okay.
Yeah, I think Mississippi State and South Carolina. I think are
Mississippi
wins.
State and South Carolina are wins. Georgia State, Akron, and Alabama State are wins. So there's 5.
So can they get 6?
Right there. Their season hinges right there on the Arkansas bye week Ole Miss. That's their key right there.
Yeah, I think if they can
So
win
what are
one
you
of those
seeing?
two,
Like
they'll
5 and
bowl.
7, maybe?
Yeah,
5 and 7, 6 and 6. 5 and 7, 6 and
Just
6.
barely. Either they're not making a bowl game or they're just barely in one. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, I can see. I can see that. I don't think they're going to be as bad as maybe people are expecting them to be, but they're not going to look. They're not doing much this year. They're really not. Their first true test.
I think the rosiest scenario for Auburn that I can see looking at this to be, if I was an Auburn,
7-5.
oh my God, I almost can't make the words come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
But like maybe 7-5. 7-5 if a lot of things happened perfectly.
7-5, and maybe they beat Arkansas and they beat Ole Miss and get to 7-5.
Right.
Yeah,
But they're not beating Penn State. They're not beating Georgia. They're not beating Alabama. They're not beating A&M, and they're probably going to lose at LSU.
Yeah.
So there's 5 losses right there.
Yeah, so probably 7-5 is probably their ceiling.
South Carolina. I'm going to be honest with you. They could be worn out towards the end of the season. They have a bye week. They have Ole Miss. They have A&M, Mississippi State. Then you look. I might be wrong for saying this, but that South Carolina game in Columbia could be a trap.
Yeah, Auburn could fall to 4-8. They could end up.
They are probably they're always the most unpredictable team. Either they're going to have one of those seasons where they beat their rivals in Georgia and Bama and whoop-de-doo come in second or whatever in the West, or they completely crap the bed and fall off and they don't make a bowl game. You just never know what you're getting from them.
That's kind of like the Michigan Wolverines, too. Well,
yeah.
They probably have the toughest schedule outside of Michigan State because they have to play at Wisconsin.
You're talking about in the
Nebraska.
Big Ten, right? In the Big Ten. Yeah. Okay. I got
Michigan
you.
State We got that Alabama quarter transfer. I can't think of his name right now.
Who?
That quarter from Alabama transferred.
All right, let's
Michigan
not.
State.
Crap. We did have a guy to Michigan State, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all said someone who transferred to Tennessee. So.
Yeah, that was Ian Couch we got.
The only kid that has transferred out from Alabama that I wish hadn't done so was the running back Kieran. What the hell was his last name?
Robinson.
Kieran Robinson that went to Texas because
We lost Ronald Williams.
Who?
Actually,
I
Yeah,
think
he's a
Then
corner.
maybe y'all lost both of them.
yeah.
He's a
I think we got
he's a
him.
secondary corner that plays in the backfield on defense, and Ronald Williams transferred to Michigan State back in May from
We
Alabama.
also got
Yeah, and then
got
Brandon
Tank
Turner transferred to Tennessee.
I think we got
To Tennessee?
Yeah, that's right. He was originally committed to Georgia, but he flipped to Tennessee. So
we got a Mississippi State tight end.
Mid-tippy Tate.
Yep.
Seen,
got that.
There you go.
We got the
MSU
commissioner's
Junior.
son. We got a guy from Auburn too.
Yeah.
I mean, Penn State should improve. I mean,
They should. The question is, will they?
I mean, Auburn's a tough team for a non-con game, at least. For a
Well,
decent,
it's at Beaver Stadium this year and Jordan Hare next year. It's a home and home.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I mean, I hope it's a night game and it's a whiteout. I definitely would do a stream to react to it. If Auburn, all I'll say is this: I'm not too high. I'm way higher on Penn State than I am Auburn this year, and that's not me trying to be biased or nothing. But I'm gonna tell you something. That's
facts.
Auburn's true first test is that game against Penn State. Even if it's not at night, it's still, if we're filling up stadiums this year, Beaver Stadium is packed, it's loud, it's ready to go. And Auburn, if they make it a good game, even if they lose it in a tough environment on the road like that, regardless of how Penn State's season turns out, they handle a tough challenge a bit. I mean, you got to give them props.
Yeah.
And maybe they could be a team to look out for going forward in the season.
Yeah, and Indiana they played Cincinnati in that non-conference. That could be a game for Indiana. They can lose that game, but they can win.
They could, yeah.
Cincinnati's no joke.
They aren't at all.
If Indiana, they play Ohio State in Bloomington.
Yes.
If Ohio State loses that game, Indiana wins out. They can be in the playoff.
Yeah. I got to step out real quick, guys, but if y'all want to talk it up, some more college football, feel free to. I'll be back in a few.
Michigan State got a brutal schedule this upcoming season.
I haven't seen Michigan State in person in years.
We have to play at Northwestern on a Friday night, week 1.
Mm-hmm.
We play at Miami week 3.
Right.
We have to go to Indiana, to Purdue, and to Ohio State.
It's hard to win a road game on a Friday night.
Especially in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Just something about playing on the road on Friday night that's just bad juju.
I agree, Mike. There shouldn't. That's not a college thing. It's like the college football gods are like, what are you doing playing on Friday?
I mean, I don't know if Michigan Wolverines can make a bowl game or not.
Yeah, remember, when Clemson lost to Syracuse, that was on the road on a Friday night. So
Remember when Clemson in 2016
weird shit's gonna happen when you play a college game on a Friday night.
Oh, yeah. Especially when you have Minnesota, Ohio State the night before.
Yeah, Thursday
Ohio
night kickoff. Yeah.
If I'm Ohio State, I take that game careful. I'm not going to put my freshman quarterback and say, throw for 250 yards. If I'm Ohio State, that's a trap game, week 1.
I want to tell you what's going to happen in that game. That game's going to be close for the first half, and everybody's going to be watching, and they're going to keep their TVs turned on, and then Ohio State's going to blow the shit out of them in the second half. And then we're going to have to spend all of September listening about how good Ohio State is and how they bounced back from the humiliation Alabama handled it.
Uh-huh.
Until they play Penn State, right? They
And I'm
play.
going to have to put up with all the Ohio State bullshit.
Wasn't Ohio State on a potential scandal or something? I heard from a Michigan fan.
My problem with Penn State is I'm waiting for them to win a big game.
What kind of scandal are they in?
They're supposedly on a steroid scandal, but a Michigan fan said that some of that's true or not.
Okay.
But
I
Penn
heard
State plays at Wisconsin week 1.
That's a huge game.
If Penn State won that and Auburn back to back, look out for Penn State.
Yeah, that's huge.
Then they play Iowa also out of the West, so Iowa's always a tough team. Especially at Kinnick Stadium.
Iowa and Penn State always play 10-7, 16-9, 17-13.
That's always a tough game for both teams.
One year, Iowa was beating Penn State at halftime 5-3.
Is that a baseball game or a football game?
Football game.
Football game.
Oh yeah, I remember that game.
Then they got another safety, and they went up 7-3, but they had a field goal and 2 safeties. That's how they got their 7
That's right,
points.
I remember. That's right. Yeah, and then Penn State score on the last play of the game. So.
Yep, and that's Michael Vick is correct.
Penn State got screwed last year when they played Indiana on the road.
Okay. Screwed. Okay.
Yeah, did you see that play from the Penn State Indiana game?
Oh, yeah. You mean that a 2-point play?
Yeah.
You know, they went for the 2-point conversion and they got it. Yeah. Yeah.
And they took it off. So.
And that was a bit of a questionable call, I guess. But
if Penn State can beat that, Penn State could be the playoff team for the Big Ten, but
that's right. And in the play, stood. I mean, I'll allow it, but I don't think they had enough to overturn it. So.
Yeah.
Well,
and one thing.
What we need to have happen is we need to have Georgia beat Clemson, so that if Clemson loses to Syracuse or Miami or somebody, if they lose one more and get their second loss, nobody's getting in the playoffs with 2 losses.
Yeah. Unless someone else.
The loser of that Georgia Clemson game has lost their insurance. They've already cashed in their life insurance with that one loss. They get another one, they're done.
That's right.
I just got back in here. Who are we talking about losing?
Yeah, either
Clemson?
Georgia or Clemson.
Oh, with the week 1 matchup?
That's right.
Yeah, the loser can't lose again.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm gonna say this though. I think the team that can mostly Clemson can afford the loss more than Georgia can because Clemson has the easier path. That's already proven.
That's right.
So, I'll throw that out there.
Until they play North Carolina.
Yeah. And
Right.
even then, I mean,
in the championship. Yeah, but I mean their schedule
or
after
Miami.
Georgia is a joke.
I think I guess the Coastal Division, the ACC, that comes down to Miami or North Carolina. One of those two teams will win it, face Clemson in Charlotte. And I'm going to tell you this right now. It might be a blowout. It might not be. But you still shouldn't sit there and say, oh, yeah, Clemson will outright, destroy them. I mean, one of those two teams, both of them, I think, are capable of running the table and just putting up a bunch of points. They got great quarterbacks. But, again, for Clemson and the ACC, they got an easy path outside of those two teams facing, potentially in the championship. So, Clemson, I think, obviously can afford the loss to UGA more than Georgia can afford it to Clemson, because Georgia will have to still play teams like Florida, play teams like Auburn, even though there's going to be some down teams, like even for Tennessee. I mean, come on. But be honest, there's a lot of upsets that happen in college football, and especially in the SEC. Like, are you taking a team like Louisville to upset Clemson, or are you taking Tennessee to upset Georgia? I mean, seriously, who are you picking between those two teams, Georgia and Clemson, to slip up against a team they shouldn't this season? Honestly.
Remember when App State beat Michigan back in 2007?
Yeah.
I remember that.
They played Michigan State Classics the other day.
Yeah, Michigan was number one.
Yeah.
App State was unranked.
Yeah.
Yeah. App State was FCS.
Well, hey, that's another thing too. Clemson in 2017. How they got the number one seed in the playoffs, I don't know. I mean, win the ACC. But anyways, they even lost to an unranked Syracuse team on the road. So, I mean, Clemson has had, like, the ACC. Yes, I'm not saying anyone's going to upset Clemson, but, it's any given Saturday in college football. Any given Saturday, upsets can brew and happen.
In 2016.
You never take any game lightly.
Especially if you're Clemson in 2016. Here's the scenario. Pittsburgh traveled to Clemson and beat them.
Yes.
So, if you're Clemson, how did you even get into the playoff with the loss to Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Yes, they have improved, but it's Pittsburgh.
Yeah, all right, guys. So it's my mom's supper time, so I'm going to get off.
All right, see you, Vic. Have a good one, buddy.
See you.
I'm gonna have to. I got some stuff I got to do. Ballard, thanks for having me, and we'll talk to you all later.
Right. Roll Tide. See ya.
Ballard, do you want me to email you that video that I uploaded?
Yeah, if you want to, man. I think I'm still subscribed to you though. Yeah. But if you want to send it, just in case, yes.
All right. I mean, if there's a trap game for Miami, it's App State week 2 between Alabama and Michigan State.
Right.
So you're talking, if Miami, if they lose to Bama, they can't afford another loss until North Carolina. I mean, last time Michigan State made the playoff, our schedule had at Ohio State, and we played Penn State at home in 2015. We lost to a 5-7 Nebraska.
That's sad.
Yeah, I know. It's like Penn State last year when they lost to Maryland.
That's true.
Or if you remember that Maryland-Ohio State game where Maryland just fell short.
Yeah.
I was mad. But if there's I'm gonna call it this. I'm upset. Like, if there's any year for Michigan to beat Ohio State in their eyes, it is this year in Ann Arbor.
I know. My uncle was on here talking about it a few weeks ago, and I fully agree that, Michigan cannot screw this year up. Because can we agree on something? And some people don't agree, but I really don't expect much from Ohio State this year. I don't.
I don't either. Especially when they play Minnesota and Oregon back-to-back.
That's tough. That's a tough open for the season early on.
Then Michigan has Washington in week 2 and Rutgers and Wisconsin back-to-back after a Northern Illinois team with Rocky Lombardi who beat them last year at Michigan State.
Yep.
So if I'm just talking about, if you screw up against Washington, you cannot afford to lose a game. Unless if it's competitive against Indiana. Okay, Indiana's a better team than you, period.
Right.
But you have got to compete. If you go to Ohio State, make it competitive. Like, if he loses this game, like 72-0, bye. They had not won a single bowl game under Jim Harbaugh. They lost to South Carolina one time. It was like when Sparty had D'Antonio, we won 50% of our bowl games.
Mark D'Antonio, right? The previous coach.
Yeah.
He just retired,
Yeah. He won 50% of bowl games. I mean, one year, we lost to Central Michigan, but every year we went bowling except 2016, which was similar to the 2020 LSU team. Because both defensive units lost a lot of talent. We lost our starting quarterback, Connor Cook, to the NFL.
Yeah.
We should have put Damian Terry or Brian Lewerke in at quarterback. So I'm not saying Ohio State can win the championship, but if they're going to win it, they're going to have to earn it every single week.
So Michigan State, I'll ask a couple questions about them. So is it Rocky Lombardi this year at quarterback? And if that's the case, I know you've come on my channel and we've talked about it a few times. You seem like you're very high on him.
Lombardi transferred to Northern Illinois.
Oh, that's right.
Then Theo Day, what did Theo Day transfer to? He transferred out of the program as well. So we have Anthony Russo, Peyton Thorne, and Noah Kent at the quarterback spots.
Who do you like of those guys? Or is it one of those situations where you really don't care? Because, I mean, are you looking at it and saying, like, it doesn't matter who you guys have at quarterback, or is there a particular guy right now?
Well, there's two answers I can give you. Number one is Anthony Russo has high touchdowns with high interceptions. I think he's 6'4", 245. He can run.
There you go. That's a strong guy.
But he can't run as fast as Thorne, who can rip it and he can run quicker. But Peyton has more accuracy, but so is Thorne or Russo. The only problem is Russo is he has to work on balls placement. So it can be either one. I'd probably say Russo starts, and if things start going horribly, I think you put Thorne in, and then put Russo back in. Because let's face it, we did that a couple of times with Connor Cook. He hurt his shoulder in that Maryland game. Yeah,
I remember Connor Cook. He was quarterback when you guys played my Crimson Tide a few years back in that semifinal, and he was actually a really good quarterback. He struggled against the tougher opponents, obviously, but he still put up some good numbers. I'm looking at y'all's schedule this year, especially that back half. It does not look easy. I mean, right out of the gate, Northwestern, who has slowly rose up a little bit in the Big Ten in recent years, on the road in Evanston. Do you expect to win that game right out the gate first week?
I got two answers: yes and no.
Okay.
I say yes because they lost 67% of their team.
Yeah.
All veterans, juniors, and seniors. They have a lot of freshmen and sophomores on the back end. And here's going to be their quarterback, Ryan, what's his last name, from South Carolina, and Hunter Johnson.
Yeah.
The question is, if they can't really compete, and I think if Michigan State, the key to the game for Michigan State is don't turn the ball over, don't give up sacks, and don't get penalties and shoot yourself in the foot. If you're Northwestern, let your freshman quarterback run the ball on the first couple plays. Let him get the bugs out.
Just to get the offense started.
Yes. You have a capable running back. Northwestern has some good backs in the recent years.
Yeah.
Then you have receivers. So if you're Northwestern, capitalize on the mistakes that Michigan State makes and make them pay for it.
Okay. I think you guys, that'll be a tough game. I'm not ready to pick that because I don't know what Northwestern's fully going to look like. But moving on, I mean, then you get a cupcake type of team. If you guys cannot afford to lose to Youngstown State, I've heard of that school. It sounds like a really good school, but I mean, it's still like for example, Yale and Harvard. You look at those, some of the best universities in the country. But the football school, they're not football schools. They're academics-wise. So Youngstown State is not really a football school. And you guys, as a Power 5 Big Ten program, need that win. I think you guys will. Now we get into the meat and potatoes of the schedule at Miami. How worried are you about that? Especially, De'Aaron King is kind of underrated going into this year, in my opinion.
I mean, he is underrated. He's one of the best quarterbacks I've seen.
Right.
It's the games that he struggled in. He played against North Carolina and Clemson. Look at the numbers.
Right.
And he's coming off his torn ACL, though. If he is not healthy for that game, he takes a beating against Bama and App State. If he's already hurting, what do? Do you put the freshman Jake Garcia in? Because every veteran defense knows, like Michigan State, freshman quarterback, you guys know what to do. Ramp up the pressure.
Right. Make them want to quit the game. You know?
But if you're Michigan State, you have to keep it close with Miami.
You do. I think you have. I mean, that's your first test, and you at least, if you're Michigan State, you want the loss early on, so that way you can use it as motivation going forward. But you also, like you said, keep it close. Like, you can't have this be like a 45-10 game. You want something that's like a 35-30 type of game. That's like, a touchdown, or maybe I think 10 points or less. And Michigan State would definitely, like, it wouldn't be too bad of a loss. I mean, I don't think it'd be too bad of a loss, period. I think Miami's going to be really good. Obviously, again, they got to play my Crimson Tide week 1. That's their first challenge. So they could have a loss going into that game. They could be undefeated for all we know. I mean, I feel like they are one of the more underrated teams going into the season. But getting back to your Spartans, man, that's your first challenge. And then you got Nebraska. I think Scott Frost, this could be his last year. He was hired at his alma mater. He had a lot of hype and potential, and he hasn't done squat.
He's kind of like...
I mean... Go
Here's
ahead.
the thing. For Nebraska, though, they have a veteran quarterback who knows the offense, who
That's
knows
true.
what to do. So for Nebraska, let your veteran quarterback go. It's kind of like this. We'll say Tampa Bay has Tom Brady at quarterback.
Right. Yeah.
And then the Eagles have a rookie quarterback. We'll just name him Dave, for example.
Well, they got Jalen Hurts. I mean, but...
Jalen Hurts. So Tom Brady knows, but Tampa Bay coaching staff knows, let Tom Brady coach his team up. Let him be
Right,
the coach.
because he has it in him. We've already he's proven it time after
Yeah.
time. But I get what you're saying. Like some quarterbacks, I mean, even for Trevor Lawrence, I think this year the Jaguars, after what this kid just did in college, let him play. Right?
Yeah.
Sure, work with him because he's a rookie. But I mean, we all, from a national standpoint, he's got nothing left to prove. Meanwhile, you got Zach Wilson with the Jets, where it's let's see if he's really as good as he was, made to be going into the draft. And but I guess that's kind of your view for Michigan State and the quarterback situation. I mean, are you looking at the offense work with it, or let the quarterback take care of it?
I'm gonna say let the coaches help out.
Yeah,
because this is Anthony Russo, who studied different offenses at Temple. So this is nothing new for him to do. If he can really pick it up. And one thing about Nebraska is they have to go on the road to Norman and play Oklahoma.
They do.
On the road. And if you're Scott Frost, you have to beat somebody in the top 10.
You do. You can't. They do have Oklahoma this year. They're kind of bringing that back. That used to be a huge game. They need. They need a big win this year.
Yeah, they do. As well as Nebraska, though, you also have to play Michigan out of the Eastern Division.
They do.
Michigan, Nebraska, they had to play everybody in the West, including a very good Iowa team. If you're Nebraska, though, is that a night game at me playing Nebraska?
There's not a for Michigan State.
Yeah,
it's not announced yet. They don't have a time for that.
Okay, so that's just a regular noon kickoff game.
Right.
It's gonna come down to the fourth quarter. In the spring game, Michigan had one of those tempo periods. And they proven they can do tempo.
Right.
So if we're playing Miami, like you said, keep it close. If we're down by 5, there's a minute and 45 seconds left, and we have all 3 timeouts. And Miami has none. We can take our time. Plus, we have a minute 45. Plus our 3 timeouts. Plus, we can do up tempo. So, yeah.
If you guys, you're talking about if you have the ball, right? If Michigan State's on offense, there you go.
And if on defense, though, you got 2 veterans, Drew Beasley and Jacob Panashuk.
Yeah.
Noah Harvey, Chase Klein, Ian Crouch from Tennessee. Tennessee coming. So that I'm not real worried about the linebackers yet until I see them on the field.
Right.
And then we play Western Kentucky, which is a 7:30 p.m. game. Western Kentucky, we should win that game.
You should. You should win. I mean, you have a few, you should win Youngstown. You should win Western Kentucky. I think any non-con games you guys have, outside of maybe the Miami game, you should win. Youngstown, with Western Kentucky, and I think that's it. And of course, the Miami game. I'm not Ohio State's not must win. Every game's a must win, but you get what I'm saying. You don't these are the higher teams, the Michigans, the Indianas, at least based off last year. Penn State, they took a tough year last year, but they're they're still a historic program, and James Franklin, I think, is still a good coach. But now I'll say this because it's a rivalry. You have to beat Michigan, but at the same time, it's you can't have you can't lose to Youngstown State. That's like when Tennessee lost to Georgia Tech or Georgia State a few years ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was holy crap, did you seriously just lose to a high school type of team? As a Power 5?
Did you see Squidward's reaction to that?
That was hilarious on so many levels.
Why don't you just go play that again?
I won't play it on here, but I mean, still, Michigan State, I think, will have a interesting year. They're one of those things. I don't know what they're going to look like. You're a fan. Overall, though, 12 games. You looked at the schedule. What's the record you got for them right now?
7-5, pushing 9-3.
Between 7-5 and 9-3. That's not bad. That's not bad. Now, are you confident in beating Miami?
Going down there in September, in that September heat in Florida, humidity. Like a northeast team. It depends on turnovers and all that. I'm gonna say we could win, but we could also lose. I'm a little bit nervous for that Miami game.
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty confident in that Ohio State game.
Really? In Columbus?
The last time we went there was in 2015. That's how the schedule ended at Ohio State, and we played Penn State the next week and beat them 55-16.
There you go.
It took a last-second field goal to beat them. We had not beaten that team since. We haven't competed with them. Then there's that Michigan team they don't know who the quarterback is. Michigan State doesn't know either. But we got a great coach. Mel Tucker is gonna figure it out. We lost to Penn State. There's something wrong with our shoes.
Right.
He said there's no excuses for losing the teams that you should beat.
Yeah, there's no excuse. I mean, it's not like if you're playing a team like again on your schedule. I think Western Kentucky, if Western Kentucky, hypothetically speaking, obviously was like a top 15 ranked team in that game, and you lose to a top 15 team, that's like, okay, well, they were ranked, they were top 15. Now, Western Kentucky is compared to Michigan State, who's in the Big Ten, who's a Power 5 school, they're nothing. So you shouldn't lose a game like that.
And Michigan gets Western Michigan to open up the season. The problem is Michigan's only favored by 18 points.
Yeah. Do you think it, like, normally, like, is that too low, you think? Like, not like what you personally think, but I mean, honestly, like, should they beat them by more than 18?
They should be at least a 28 to 30 point favorite.
Okay. See, that's what I was trying to get at. Like, if you're like the true football media and you're looking at that line like only 18, or are you looking at it like 18, they should have no problem with it? Like,
it's like we played them in 2019.
Right.
We had a decent first half, and we just torched them in the second half.
There you go.
Yes, we working through 1 or 2 interceptions, but we beat them like 51-17.
Right.
And there's new uniforms that we wore, but then the next week we get stumped by Arizona State.
Oh, they're not a bad team, but like, I think I remember when that happened, and I was just like, that's just rough,
And the one thing is, it wasn't the Arizona's team's fault. It was the referee's fault.
Right.
They missed a leaping.
I don't know.
If I'm the college game day, if there's one rivalry game I would like to hit from the Big Ten outside of the game, Ohio State, I want to see them come to East Lansing for Michigan State. Because
if it plays out right for those teams, I guarantee you, like, let's say, because again, that's like an early on, like, October game, right, for you guys. So I mean, it's not like it's super late in the season. But if you go ahead,
I think it's like October 30th, I think. Or
Okay,
October,
well, so it's kind of late, like the second half, but I mean, still, they don't have to be undefeated. Well, actually, first off, if both teams were, hypothetically speaking, they'd go there, right? Like, they'd be like, did you expect both these teams to be undefeated in October? But I mean, like, if you guys played your cards right and you get to that Michigan State Michigan game, that could be a top 25 matchup for this rivalry.
Yeah, and I think there's one team from the SEC that no one's hyped up about. Nobody, and that is Missouri.
Now, I will say, my friend Chess Hall and I on our show have talked quite a bit about Missouri being the second team in the East this year. But then again, we are saying that the East will be down pretty much with like Vandy, of course, and Florida just looks like they're going to have a rough year. But no, I would agree that Missouri is not getting enough love and respect this offseason. You know, I feel like, I mean, they're looking at them saying they'll be a good team, but I feel like they'll be a little bit better than people would expect them to be. I don't think they're going to be like beat Georgia good, but at least just be competitive, you know?
Yeah, they can start out, if you look at their schedule, they can start off 8-0 before they hit Georgia.
They could actually. I mean, they could run through, you know, I mean, it looks like a really good schedule. Like you said, they could go undefeated into the Georgia game. When you look at it, let me see. Are you sure? I'll share this one. Here we go. We're just sharing schedules today. I mean, Central Michigan, that's a pretty good opponent for them to open up with. Central Michigan has been okay, but I mean, the advantage for Missouri is that it's in Columbia. At Kentucky, Kentucky, I think, will be down. They got Joey Gatewood, who transferred from Auburn. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback. I'm not saying that out of bias of Auburn or whatever. I just don't think he's great. Southeast Missouri. Now, I think, put Kentucky aside, the first true test, I think, is going to Chestnut Hill and playing Boston and Massachusetts, Boston College. Tennessee's going to be down. North Texas, you should have no problem with. Now, I will say this. They do have Texas A&M, which I think is going to be a really great team. They were great last year. They had consideration for the 4th spot. They don't lose a whole lot other than Kellen Mond. They have a 5-star recruit in Haynes King at quarterback, who I am hearing is doing well this offseason and is going to be great. A&M will be an interesting game. They're lucky that it's not at Kyle Field. I think they beat Vandy. It is an interesting setup, actually. I mean, they could run this maybe 10-2, 9-3. It depends really on these games. Obviously, there's Georgia. There's the A&M game at home. And that Boston College game, I don't know a whole lot what to expect from Boston College.
Penn State played them a couple years ago in a bowl game. They barely beat Boston College in a bowl game.
They're tough.
Yes. So if you're Missouri, you only get out to a 3-4 score lead.
First off, which I don't know why you would overlook a team for Tennessee, but if you are Missouri, you better not overlook Boston College and be like, yeah, we got Tennessee in a week, so this is a cakewalk. We just got to get to that game. You shouldn't be doing that. You're playing them, and even if you're playing them at home, I mean, it's an ACC team, and quite honestly, if I'm being honest, Missouri's level in the SEC is probably Boston College's level in the ACC, where they're at in their own conference, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's 2 rivalries I'd like to see renewed. Would be Pitt, Penn State, and how about Illinois and Missouri?
There you go. I would like to see that too.
And there's Texas A&M. I mean,
that actually has been in talks for a little while. That they're thinking about renewing that, but I don't think anything's been official.
Right, and one thing about the Texas Fight song, and part of it is Texas Fight, and it's goodbye to A&M.
There you go. Okay.
Nothing beats in-state rivals like a shot like that. Right. Yeah, that's pure hatred.
Yeah. Listen, I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm gonna go spend some time with the family. I gotta head out, and but
All right.
Again, so is your team? What do you want them? Obviously, everyone wants their team to win the championship, but at most, what are you expecting from them? And then again, just before we leave, what do you expect them to do this year for Michigan State?
Michigan State 7-5. I expect them to be more competitive, especially with a lot of veterans. And don't forget about those super seniors.
Yep.
And those juniors who started last year. So, I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me on, Ballard.
All right. Thanks, MSU fan. I appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
See ya.
All right. Michigan State fan popping in today. Haven't seen him in a while. He's always great on here. He's shown up a few times. Michigan State fan. He puts out some videos here or there. Y'all go sub him up. I think I put his channel link in the chat earlier. But I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go spend some time with family. Don't forget, my good buddy TikTok Chess Hall, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 Central, has his game night tonight. I'm not sure what we're doing, but I would hope to show up to it and compete. And don't forget, I do YouTube news, sports news Fridays, the morning show, 8 a.m. I'm sorry, Eastern Time. And don't forget as well, as always, the Unprofessional Sports Show with myself and, again, my good buddy TikTok Chess Hall every Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, my time. And, yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. Thanks, everyone, for showing up. Love you guys. Hope y'all have an awesome weekend. Keep your head up. Jesus loves you. God bless. And as always, roll tide roll. Woo!
Good boy, son. Okay. Roll down tide.